Spirit Halloween is back in 2024 for more maniacal mayhem, and this year they're inviting us to visit the Carnevil, a creepy carnival-themed in-store display complete with fortune teller's booth, a games tent, and even a walk-through funhouse of terror. And scattered all throughout is a brand new set of menacing animatronics. So let's take a minute to explore and meet some of this year's creepy cast of characters. This is Cotton Candy Dan. After having his act interrupted one too many times by loud heckling and gluttonous chewing, Cotton Candy Dan decided that this show would be his last. Later that evening, Dan ran into the heckler, stuffing his face full of cotton candy, and he decided it was time for revenge. Driven by anger and the thought of his broken dreams, Dan claimed his first victim, whose beady eyes can still be seen as Cotton Candy Dan stirs his head into the simmering cotton candy brew each night.
Better be careful walking around in this place. You can get in all kinds of sticky situations here.
This cuddly carnivore is Barnaby the Bear. Barnaby never fit in with the other cubs. They were terrified by his wicked attitude and glowing eyes that looked like fresh blood. His mother decided that her cubs would be safer without him around, so she banished him from the den. One day, a carnival ringmaster found him and taught him all sorts of death-defying stunts to captivate a crowd. But unfortunately, after the curtain closes, Barnaby performs his favorite trick of all, rolling his ball over unsuspecting stragglers to hear them scream. Next up is Wanda Webworth. Wanda Webworth wasn't always mean and vindictive. She led a happy life spinning webs and snacking on beetles, bugs, and moths. But one day while basking in the sun, she felt a sudden sharp pain as one of her legs was plucked off by a broom. She was so angry that she bit the human that hurt her and was never the same again. After getting a taste of human blood, her appetite became insatiable, and as her hunger grew, so did her size. Now she's out for revenge, vowing to rid the earth of all those pesky humans. This levitating scarecrow is known as Mack Straw. Mack loved to have visitors in his field, and he invited the whole country out to enjoy the bounty of his lands every fall. But a demonic figure took advantage of that generosity and snuck into his barn unnoticed amongst the festivities. When Mack went to investigate strange noises coming from the loft, he found himself in a wrestling match with a demon from hell. Mack put up a good fight, but the demon was just too powerful, tethering what was left of his life force to an old scarecrow instead of damning him to hell. With his soul intact, Mack continues to welcome guests to his farm with his lucky pitchfork. However, most times they just turn tail and run. This grinning gourd is the Night Terror. The Night Terror is a Halloween fanatic that loves to cause chaos. As a teenager, he proudly kept his Halloween decorations up all year and refused to put them away. This act of decor defiance caught the eye of a warlock who gave him delightfully wicked powers and an immortal form. Starting on October 1st, he stalks unsuspecting neighborhoods looking for true Halloween fans. The flickering of jack-o'-lanterns makes his head bounce and glow bright orange with the spirit of the season. But beware if you don't celebrate, because the Night Terror torments undecorated houses with smashed pumpkins, thick cobwebs, and turns all of your candy into packages full of live spiders. This green-skinned ghoul is towering Tallulah. Tallulah was forced to marry young to a man who wasn't that bright, and one day that husband died of unknown causes, allowing her to inherit the estate. Rumors swirled about Tallulah being a witch who killed her husband for money, but when the townfolk tried to burn her at the stake, they were in for a surprise, because she was a witch. She survived the incident, but now her once beautiful skin was charred, and Tallulah is out to make everyone pay for her disfigurement.
curiosity and trespassing has cost you your mortality. Fear not, for you will have eternal existence, spellbound to me for the rest of time.
This towering extraterrestrial is Giant Death Ray. Ray does not come in peace. This alien menace is holding on to a grudge about human involvement at Area 51. Towering over you with a sinewy body full of bizarre lights and a laser-focused glare, this telepathic being will enter your mind, convincing you to give in to an abduction full of poking, prodding, and slicing. So if you encounter Ray, you better run before he decides to claim you for his twisted experiments. This is the demonic gatekeeper. Expelled from the underworld for a minor infraction, the demonic gatekeeper was regulated to guarding Hell's mouth to keep the dead from rising up. Although it was a punishment, keeping demons and other riffraff from clawing their way back to Earth was a very demanding job. And as the pressure of this huge responsibility started to get to him, the gatekeeper became disgruntled and even more evil. If you happen to hear his evil laugh and be caught in the gaze of his menacing orange glowing eyes, he'll rise up and send you down so he can guard you too in your eternal unrest.
This is the point of no return. Your cries and screams are futile.
Next is the Gravestone Ghoul. The Gravestone Ghoul loves his job. He's found his true calling in the afterlife, works for himself, and has prime mausoleum real estate. This ghoul lurks behind gravestones and bides his time watching burial ceremonies. He causes trouble by raising goosebumps on the skin of those nearby and making them uneasy with the feelings of being watched. And if he spots any vandals lurking around after hours, he gladly scares them straight off the hallowed grounds, because he believes every soul, resting or not, deserves a little peace and quiet. And finally, we've got Ghostface from the Scream franchise. The scariest part about Ghostface is you never know who's underneath the black and white mask. And just like a scene from your favorite movie, this Ghostface animatronic tilts his head and jabs his weapon in a frenzied motion. So be sure to watch your back, and remember, if that phone rings, don't answer it.
You teach a class about slashers, and you still walked into a dark alley.
So that's it for today, but we'll continue to keep an eye out as more new animatronics like the Ringmaster, the Cremator, and Bobby Strings continue to roll out to stores. Thanks for joining, and hope you have an incredibly spooky Halloween season.